Good morning, dear students. I am Dr. M.D. Sharma, Associate Professor of Physics, Government Dungar College, Bikaner. I welcome you all to the MSc Physics final class of the session 2021. Dear students, I shall be teaching you about the fifth paper, and that is condensed matter physics. The portion which I shall teach to you, that is comprising of the crystal binding and structure, semiconductors, and magnetic properties of materials. Now, there are certain reference books for this particular paper, in which the most leading one is Charles Kittle's Introduction to Solid State Physics, edition 7. The main purpose of studying or teaching you the condensed matter physics is to tell you about the solid state of material. We all know that all materials which we see or which we observe are found in basically 4 states. 3 of them are quite visible to us: the solid state, the liquid state, and the gaseous state. We can easily understand these states. The 4th one is the plasma state, and beyond this there is a 5th state also, about which we shall have an idea in this class. But all in all, when we see the solid state physics, then the most basic question arises in our mind is that how a solid state is formed, or why a liquid state is formed, or a gaseous state is formed, or a plasma state is formed. What is the basic cause behind it? And that is, the basic cause is interaction between the molecules. This is what I have written here, that we know that in the non-states of matter, the atom and molecule interact with each other via electromagnetic force. The force causes a formation of bond whose nature depends upon the value of charge on nucleus, distribution of electrons, because distribution of electrons will definitely govern the value of the force between the atoms or molecules. Now, there are several types of forces. In fact, the basic force is electromagnetic force between the molecules and the atoms, but depending upon the nature of the atom or ion involved, we define the bonds in 5 basic types, that is ionic bond, covalent bond, metallic bond, van der Waals bond, and hydrogen bond. I have tried to give a very simple comparative description of these, that these are the parameters on the basis of which we can compare these bonds: cohesive energy, hardness and brittleness of the material, melting and boiling points of the material, electrical conductivity of the material, absorption of infrared radiations, that is absorption of IR, crystal configuration which is involved in the formation of the crystal, polar nature of the material. Then the most important is optical properties, magnetic properties of course, and metallic properties. Since today it is my introductory lecture, so I will give a little emphasis on what our purpose is in future to read all this. See, normally a student asks at the PG level that we have studied electrical conductivity in our earlier 11th class also, 12th class also. We had some ideas during our UG classes also. Then what is the purpose here in MSc to teach all these things? Dear students, there we had observations only, and here there is a clarification of all these observations. This is the difference. When you go to the earlier classes, you will find that they will write that this material is transparent. Glass is a transparent material. But nobody is going to tell you why it is transparent. We all know metal is opaque to light. We all know. Up to the UG level, we are well familiar with these questions. but nobody tells us why metal is opaque. So these are studied under the topic optical properties of substances. There you can see that few of the materials are opaque to light, but they are not opaque to infrared. They can easily let the infrared pass through them. So these properties are very well studied in PG classes. We will read, of course, all these things. Hardness and brittleness. A simple question arises that why steel is having such a great elasticity, on the other hand rubber is not having that much of elasticity. Few materials are brittle in nature. For example, glass. You just hit a glass piece, it will convert into pieces, it will convert into small particles. On the other hand, if you apply some force or beat a steel, then it will begin to form a sheet. It will, but it is never going to convert into pieces. So it is having malleability. There is some ductility and ductile nature of metals is there. So all these questions can be easily found on the basis of the bond which are formed to form the material. This is what I want to tell you. So for example, I have written few values. See, absorption of infrared radiation means these are ionic crystals. When I say those materials in which ionic bond is involved, then most of them are good absorbers of infrared radiation. I would like to tell you that infrared is a part of spectrum which corresponds to the heat radiations. In fact, they are transparent. For example, say several covalent bond type materials are transparent. Here, so it is covalent bond, this is ionic bond, and this is metal. I have compared basically the three. Then crystal configuration, we will be studying a lot about crystal configuration in this particular chapter. These ionic materials are particularly in solid state are close packed. The same is there for covalent bond. And for metals, it is interesting to understand that they show all cubic structures. Now, optical properties, as I told you, that they respond to a certain infrared radiation of the whole spectrum. These refers to a certain spectrum range, electromagnetic waves range. They are opaque for low wavelength, but they are transparent for high wavelength. Although there can be certain examples which do not obey all these things, but they are exceptions. Similarly, metals are always opaque for almost all visible rays, but metals are transparent for X-rays, gamma radiations, etc. Then magnetic properties, they can be diamagnetic, few of them can be paramagnetic. Several metals which are the D block elements, they are excellent ferromagnetic substances. Some F block elements like gadolinium, etc. are showing ferromagnetic properties. So we shall discuss all these things in this PG class. Then I start with a simple approach of numerical, that suppose in a crystal the potential energy is given by this particular rule, where R is the interatomic separation. Then one question I can ask, that draw a potential energy versus R graph, and you will see that at small values of R, this will dominate and the value will be positive, and then it will be negative minimum, and then it will approach towards 0. This is U versus R graph, the intermolecular distance separation, and you should learn that at a certain distance R0, these are two molecules, and this is the separation R between them. When R is equal to R0, the potential energy is minimum.